It's a great pleasure and honor to join with our head of the department, Professor Robinson, welcoming respected Thiru A. Udayan, Chairman, Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, respected Professor Kavi, our Director, IIT Madras, and Professor Mukesh Kare from IIT Delhi, and Professor Robinson, our head of the department, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras. So we welcome you, sir, to this function. So World Environment Day, so sometimes I'm just wondering, do we need an awareness for our own environment? Sometimes we want to keep neat and clean. Then we will try to look at it. There are two scales. We will like environment is a very bigger scale, and our understanding, our requirement will be in a smaller scale, and that's where this conflict will going to happen, and that's where we are trying to make imbalance in the environment what we are trying to look at it. And all of you know that at 1972, the first time they discussed and they noticed that okay, a lot of developmental activities will try to bring a lot of changes to the environment, and its managing will be but as you grow up and then your connection to the environment will be restricted because most of us we will try to work in the office rather than spending more time in the surrounding environment. So in that connection, I just noticed we need more wiser way to manage our environment because the land, the air, and the water, or the soil, whatever we are trying to look at, and also the underground water. So everything is a limited resource, and whatever the interventions or whatever the activities we are trying to make, and that will going to make some imbalance to this, and it will sometimes it will get polluted, or sometimes it will get affected, and then there are various changes will come to picture, and then we are trying to look at it, how do we address this? Rather, we will try to see how we can manage it very wisely. And all of you know that very clearly, the effective way of managing the environment is our understanding with the surroundings. So that's where I think it is very important for all of us to connect ourselves more effectively to the local environment and see that what best we can do in terms of helping. So in this context, Department of Civil Engineering in IIT Madras, we started with again kind support from our director, from head of the department, to organizing several functions, several programs in terms of computation, in terms of drawing, in terms of poster, organizing conferences, workshop, training programs. So we wanted to inculcate best practices. Sometimes some things will going to work in a particular place, may not be work in another place. Maybe we should learn from that. How do we how things are much cleaner in this, much greener in this, and something is not working in that particular place? How do we address that one? So this is the overall requirement for us to move forward and to create a more sustainable environment. So this program is being jointly organized with Madras in collaborating with Chennai City Corporation and Madras City Corporation, Tamil Nadu Pollution Control. How do we manage our environment for the safe and beautiful planet? As you say that, you know that we have 9 planets, but only one man exists only in Earth. So that's where it is more important for us to protect and take this to the next generation. So with this, I welcome you all, and I hope that the deliberations and the competition quiz we are very useful and make you more connected to the environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for your introduction. Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board. So we welcome you for the inaugural address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wish you all on this also congratulate on the formation of the Air Quality Management Association. For me, coming here to IIT is an honor. It's also a humbling experience being in the midst of so many academicians. Institute in the country. I'll just take a couple of minutes to just bring out a few things as far as forest officer now and pollution. Generally, when we talk about losing forests, what comes to our mind is a person who is holding an axe or a machine which is trying to cut trees in the forest or elsewhere. And somehow we feel, okay, those are the activities by which we are losing forests, trees are being lost, etc. See the connection with us. We don't realize it is all happening because of us. We are responsible for what is happening in terms of the loss in forest cover, the loss in trees. It is important to see the connect. The food we eat, when you take food, I mean grains, vegetables, fruits, the coffee, tea, cocoa, you name it. All this have to be grown somewhere. And these needs are increasing. And many a time the first and foremost system that the to pollution in terms of loss of forests, loss of the quality of water in rivers, streams, the pollution that is happening right across the country, world, of course. Everything is connected. You see maybe a lorry transporting something, and it is polluting, and you feel, oh, that lorry is polluting. But really, we are polluting because it is because of us that the lorry is moving, bringing you vegetables, fruits, or even apples. It is all happening for our sake. So that I want you all to children to kind of especially understand and become sensitive. So it is not the person close to the forest who is cutting down the forest. It is people who could be very far away from forest who is actually responsible for or the pollution of our natural environment. So please understand that. Second, of course, we can minimize the impact of loss or the pollution by reducing our consumption. Okay, so it is possible to a certain extent. The most important thing is at least to ensure that there is no wastage of resources. Curtailing the pollution that is happening across the world. So minimize wastage in the use of. Now, just for example, a bottle of water that you see, it is about 10 rupees. The 10 rupees, does it reflect the value of the water? That 10 rupees, if you see closely, is actually the cost that is involved in bringing the water to you from somewhere. Maybe a little bit of treatment, transport, putting it into bottles, and bringing it and putting it on your doorstep. So that is the cost that is involved in that 10 rupees. So basically, when you look at it closely, it is all there. That is what we are paying for. Is what is responsible for, in a way, the pollution that is happening right across the globe. The production of energy as well as the consumption of energy. When you see the production of energy, where does production of energy happen? It happens in our thermal plants. It could be a solar thing which is slightly cleaner. It could be your wind energy that is being generated. It could be again little clean. It could be hydroelectric energy. But not, I would say, reduced don't. When you use the energy, again you are doing a pollution. Of energy as well as the consumption of energy, these are closely related to what is happening right across the globe. But our activities are all causing this to happen. Most thing, especially as children, we need to understand is that look at energy efficiency. When one can be energy efficient, automatically the pollution that you cause is the minimum that can be caused. So we should at least take care of that aspect to ensure that the energy that we use is as efficient as possible in production of whatever we are looking for. Okay. And when I say energy efficiency, it should be real energy efficiency. In the sense, the true energy efficiency. It should not be that a unit is spending less but polluting more and thereby saying that I am efficient. No, you have to meet all the environmental standards and at the same time be as energy efficient as possible, because if you look at it closely, energy is the most important thing associated with pollution. So if you take care of energy, ensure that you use minimum, and whatever you use is as efficient as possible, I think we'll be able to contribute much more to ensuring that this environment that we have, the only environment, only planet that we have, is as clean as possible. Okay, so I especially want the children to kind of appreciate it and ensure that they follow it in their lifestyle, because you are all the future of this planet, and you all need to lead and show others as to how we can save this environment. So with these words, I would just like to finish. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughts and inspirational words. We'll definitely hold them close to our heart. Next, I invite the Director, IIT Madras, Professor V. Kamkuti, for the presidential address.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm very, very happy that this hall has more than 50% kids. So let us give a clap to all the kids. At the outset, I thank Shiva for, I congratulate Shiva for organizing this. And I think we have been working very closely for now almost a decade now, Shiva, on many of these issues. We are now we have reached a point where there is lot amount of global awareness that so many kids have come, so many of you have come on an afternoon. Itself shows that there is a growing awareness about the environment in general, and specifically how do we protect our environment. I hail from the computer science department. What happened, say 20-25 years before, we were also culprits to kill the environment. We had brought in a lot of electronics. Electronics doesn't come just, it's not just electronics. It comes with a lot of lead, a lot of minerals. The chips that you get, all of you have a mobile phone, right? How many people do not have a mobile phone? Oh, fine. Very good. Be it that you don't have it. We all got used to it and we don't know how to discard it. Okay. So there are so many chemicals, so many minerals and so much metals that go into making of many of these electronic gadgets. And we are also responsible for getting them. And more that we import as much electronics as that of oil today. and we are actually bringing in more and more, what we call as e-waste into the country. When the whole revolution started, like people were looking at industry, they were looking at solutions, and probably we will we were not in a position to understand its impact. Similarly, when we invented high performance supercomputers, we were very thrilled. Oh, a supercomputer is beating Kasparov in chess. Supercomputers, winning quiz competitions against human beings. So we started talking about artificial intelligence, all these things. But later we realized that the amount of power that these computing resources are going to consume, especially you have this telecommunication, right? All of you have this phone. You know what G it is using? 4G, 3G, 2G, 4G. Which G? 4G. Now it's going to become 5G. That means the amount of energy that we are going to consume, everything increases, right? More electronic gadgets you have. And that has been killing, right? Now, when we look at when they rate supercomputers today, there is a rating for supercomputing. The supercomputers were rated, say, 20 years before on terms of speed. Today, the supercomputers are rated on how green they are, how much watt of power that you consume per gigahertz of frequency, and that becomes important. Right? That is the way the world has changed today, and even in farming techniques, agriculture, the community natural farming now is the way out for us to get out of this climate crisis. So there are many, many things that have come up, which are basically trying to concentrate towards protecting the environment, and making it sustainable. From IIT Madras, I'm very happy to have brought in so many associations here, the corporations, the Pollution Control Board, not just out of Tamil Nadu, even Karnataka, and many suburb cities like Trichy, Madurai, and the GCRF and CIFA network, and of course our close friend Professor Kare from IIT Delhi. I think we are now very, very, at least now we have an idea of how to go forward. But this all needs lot of cooperation from the public. Whatever we do, still, can I make this campus plastic free? Is now a very, very open problem, right? That we need to solve, right? Because when we want to reduce the total overall power consumption in the campus, again, it's a very big open problem, right? So this all needs lot of public cooperation and public awareness. I think we will be in a position to bring in such type of awareness and also bring in lot more technical solutions that will make all our effort as green as possible. And then we would like to bring in this, protect the environment in a very effective way. We'll be shortly, we are planning to have a very large group for sustainability, hopefully may converge into a department of sustainability in our institute, which will start addressing collection of things that will come and protect water. So there is a lot of interdisciplinary work, multidisciplinary work that is necessary to bring out a very clear framework for protecting our environment. And all these efforts, I'm sure, will sort of get focused and also culminate into something that will make our country, our planet, one Earth, as green and as sustainable as possible. And we will return back all the good things that Mother Nature has given us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful words and wishes. Next, we are moving on to the inauguration of Air Quality Management Association. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp and officially inaugurate A2MA. I request our Chief Guest, Mr. A. Udain, to lead.
Once again, my privilege to this inaugurate the Air Quality Management Association being headed by IIT. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Yes. That's it.
வைஃபை கட் பண்ணுங்க, நான் இங்கே ட்ரை பண்ணுறேன். அதில் போயிடுச்சுல ஐயோ
Good afternoon, boys and girls, and good afternoon, our chief guest, Chairman Tamil Nadu Municipal Board. Causing awareness or finding also to department chief guest that we need cooperation from the public. We need to know the environmental degradation, that how it is affecting the. I just go through some very relevant points of these associations that you can understand, because everybody is can become a member of the association. The Air Quality Management Association is formed with a vision for enhancing the understanding of the science behind air quality, promoting and understanding best working practices. This is important. Understand clean air, you can understand on the books. It should be implemented in the field. That's very important. It should be practical and it should be applicable to and acceptable to the public. The association also promotes and publishes position statements on matters related to air pollution and health to achieve healthy air quality, because our aim finally is to protect our health. Why we do all sorts of regulation? Because to protect the health of individual, that human being, as well as to the health of the plants, which are also living beings. These are the two things which this association has a vision to work upon. The association is established with the following objectives, because every association should have some objectives. So we decided to have following broad objective, but not to technologies and applications, air quality, monitoring, control, policy, and health impacts. So that those boys and children, girls who are sitting here, they are for the academicians, for the researchers, who can promote all these first objective, or who can introduce these first objective with different theories and technologies. The second objective is to provide milestones and opportunity for students, especially those who are sitting over here, to further develop their knowledge in air quality. That's also this association objective, is to help the young boys and girls and young students that how to promote knowledge in irrespective of you are in social sciences, you are studying science, or you are studying arts or language, because this is the area which is entirely interdisciplinary. Anybody can work on the air pollution. I have seen abroad,
a social scientist is working in a hardcore air pollution because it involves public, so society, right? So this is the second objective. The third objective is to provide a forum. It's a platform through which the members of the association, which can be you, can interact with one another for mutual benefits and to further the objective of outlined above. Because discussion is very important. Association should have a platform where clear and without any reservation the discussion should take place, because it involves solutions. So that is another thing which this association will work as a platform. The next objective is to facilitate and encourage young professionals to contribute towards the advancement in the field of air pollution management, irrespective of their field of working and specialization. So these are some important objectives of this association. This association will have an executive committee and comprising of a president, vice president, secretary, joint secretary, treasurer, a joint treasurer, and 2 elected members also, handling all the affairs of the association, in addition to professionals from industries, universities, schools, and colleges, research institutes, and students working in the field of air quality monitoring, modeling, and control as members. The executive members who have contributed significantly to the air quality management, and also the emeritus members who have retired from the services of air quality management can also become an active members and of this air quality management association. At the moment, the committee which is formed to drive this association to further involves the president, who is Professor Shiva Nagendra, Vice President Shri S.K. Gupta, who is not present today, is from Delhi. Secretary is Dr. Dheeraj L. Shetty, and Joint Secretary is Dr. Madhusudan M., who is present here, sitting here, and Treasurer is Mr. Shruti Jairaj. And executive members are Dr. Savitha Olavi, Dr. Anju Elizabeth, and Dr. Samarika Panda. These are some of the initial committee, executive committee, which has been made. And I am fortunate enough that I have been asked to work as the chairman of the committee. So that is the brief introduction of this management association. Thank you all and wish you all the best. And I wish that those boys and girls who are sitting, young people who are sitting, should come forward and become member of this association. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for the introduction. We hope AQMA becomes a pillar stone in the air quality management of the country. With that, we are near to the closing of the inaugural function. On the occasion of World Environment Day, we would like to present all our dignitaries with plant saplings as a token of our appreciation. I request our director, Dr. Kamputi, to present the token to our chief guest, Mr. Rayude. Sir, I also request you to present the token to Professor Curry. I request our HOD, Professor Robinson, to present the token to our director, Professor Kamputi. And I request Professor Shiva to present the token to Professor Robinson. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Nidhi Verma to deliver the vote of thanks.
The sense of time have rendered fear. Blue skies on the high, no longer clear. Stars were bright whence they came, now dimmed, obscured, pollution's haze. With this note, I would like to express my special thanks of gratitude to Honorable Director, Honorable Chief Guest, invited speakers, and guests to enlighten us about the steps to be taken to protect our Mother Earth. I am grateful that I got the opportunity to end this inauguration function by giving the vote of thanks on the occasion of World Environment Day. I, on the behalf of our group, would like to extend hearty vote of thanks to entire people who contributed their valuable time today for making efforts to save environment. After this function, we will have some technical talks, and I hope you will get some thought-provoking ideas and care for your mother nature. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Thank you all for we'll start our technical.
Is not having any back. Okay, okay, we'll just get it. ஆமா. இப்படியும் காட்டி சரி ரைட்டு சரி இது ஒன்று இப்படி இன்னும் தள்ளணுமா? இல்லை இல்லை நான் கை இருக்கு இருங்க இப்போ கொஞ்சம் தள்ளணும் கொஞ்சம் பின்னாடி அது கீழே போயிடும் 2 வருஷத்துக்கு
Welcome back, one and all. We'll be commencing the technical talk sessions now. The first speaker of the day is Dr. Mukesh Khare. He is an emeritus professor of environmental engineering in the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Delhi. Professor Khare has covered research and development studies, teaching, consulting, modeling, as well as editorial activities with his immense experience in the field of air quality management. And today's talk is titled Air Quality Management, Future Directions. Sir, we welcome you.
coming. Tension there. Good afternoon, everybody again. My lecture today will be on role of indigenous and innovative technologies in urban air quality management. Urban, I'm not touching the rural areas, only in urban areas. Why? Because you know that the urbanization is increasing exponentially. People are shifting to cities from rural areas. It's not a good sign, but looking at the modernization and looking at the global trend, I think in all the countries, the urban areas are increasing like anything. So air pollution has become a major cause of urban deterioration. So we thought that what we should do or what we can do to tackle this increasing air quality problem in urban areas, in the cities, etc. Now, in order to tackle any problem, I will be explaining in a very layman language so that our boys and girls can understand. Anything you want to do, you have to first plan it. This should be your principle of doing or anything which can be done on the field. You first plan it. Without planning, things will not work. Planning will take time. And once you have a good plan, you can implement it successfully, because then you have a system of implementation, a system by which will direct you which you should start first and which you should start next. So that planning is required. And this chart shows you that how you are going to tackle the urban air quality problem in any city. And this is called the air quality management framework, which is in one slide, it covers all the component of air quality. If you start with the first box here, which called air monitoring. This is our first starting box. Because for any problem you want to tackle, you should have a data. Without data, the decisions will be faulty. It will be, casual decisions. It will be not a decisions which can be implemented properly. So you should create a data first. So that is done by air quality monitoring. You use the monitoring instruments, samplers, fix it at different places, and then generate the data. So this is the first box which you start. Now this box is connected with these two boxes, which you can see over here. The first box reads the federal reference monitors, and this is called federal equivalent monitors. Now this terminology has been taken from the United States of America, with Central Pollution Control Board, though they are not using this terminology, but they are using its equivalent terminology like reference instrumentation and the equivalent reference instrumentation. So reference instrumentation should be such which can give you a correct data, reference monitors that should be fixed. And there are if you don't have the reference monitor, then there are equivalence monitors, equivalent technologies which one can use. And this is generally specified by any regulatory agency of the country. So this, whatever the monitoring instrumentation you are using, it should first, follow or satisfy these two methods or technologies. Then the second is a complementary measuring technology, which you call is sensors. You must be hearing a lot of sensor uses in the field these days in the papers, newspaper, that you have a small sensors and you go fixing in the car, and then you see that what is the concentration you are being exposed to. If you are driving or if you are walking, if you are cycling in any area of the city. So these sensors are the complementary technologies, because these instruments are very expensive and you cannot use a 40, 50 or 60 instrument in a city because it costs money. One instrument costs more than 1 crore, and the maintenance is also per annum costing more than 1 crore per annum. And it requires a skilled person. So it is not possible to use these monitors in large numbers, and cities are big. So how to tackle this problem? You use the affordable cost sensors fixed between the two monitors, the expensive monitors. Now these sensors have to be used very cautiously, which I will discuss in the next slide. Because these sensors, they are not as accurate as monitor, and we don't want accuracy in the sensor. We want reliable sensors, right? So that we will discuss it later. So these are the complementary to this air monitoring box. So first you decide that what type of data you want to generate and what type of instrumentation you want to buy and where you want to fix it. The second box comes under the source apportionment, which is another methodology which from this data and emission inventory. Emission inventory means that you have inventory to know how many sources are there in your city. That is called inventory, and that is done by field methods. So if you have a good inventory data with you, that how many sources are got, and if you have a good data, both together integrated with each other can be used using certain mathematical methods, the apportioning the sources, that so much of particles is coming from vehicles, so much of NO2 is coming from trucks, so much of NO2 is coming from buses, so much of particles are coming from biomass burning, so much of microgram per meter cube is coming from resuspension of road dust. That is called the source apportionment. So these two together can be integrated using some mathematical formulas, some mathematical equations. You do apportionment of the sources, which is important, which you require it for any management, right? Then this helps you in identifying the sources, because your ultimate aim is to identify sources and then prioritize those sources. This is the largest source which pollute your city. Then second largest is this. Then the third priority is this. Because if any regulatory agency wants to take action, they cannot stop all the sources together. You have to prioritize the source and then take action on that source. Reduce that source. So these all three boxes give you a good method of identifying the sources and prioritize it. Right? So in why I put green, because in these three boxes we are doing very well. If you compare globally, India is doing excellent work in these three boxes, including the Central Pollution Control Board, including the State Pollution Control Boards, including the institutions. We are doing really a good work in this area, and we have done it very good work. And presently, in most of the cities, most of the states of India, they are well ahead in these three boxes. They have a very good data bank, and they know they know to identify the source. Even Chennai also knows which is the major source in various air quality control areas. So we have this data with us. Now, once you have this identification, then using these data as input, you can use this data into the model. Now, what is model? Model is not a physical model. It is not a model which a art or any sculpture makes. Model here, I mean to say, is a mathematical equations. You must have done the mathematical equation of y is equal to mx plus c. It is a straight line equation. What it gives? You know the slope, you know the intercept, c is the intercept, you put the value, you get the y, right? That is what this model is. And in air quality model, in the left hand side of the equation, we have c, concentration, and the right hand side has different parameter. It has a emission inventory, it has this data as an input on the right hand side of the equation. Then we have wind data, because wind is the driving agent, wind velocity, wind direction, humidity, temperature, all these data are fixed in the right hand side of the equation. So you have a model. Why model we use, why equations we use? Because you want to predict. As you know, the meteorologists predict in the radio and TV when tomorrow is going to be rain. How they do it? By mathematical equation. Same thing you want to do here. You want to predict that tomorrow my city, my area, so much of PM 2.5 particle production or emission will be there. That forecasting ability should be there with the city and with the regulator, because that will give you an opportunity that tomorrow, if it's so much of PM 2.5 is there, and this is the source which is causing these accidents, you can take action. So that is what we need. Sorry, I've got a bad throat. Once you have the forecast with you, these are the predictions. Next day, so much of particles will be there, and so this is the source which are going to cause this pollution. Then you take the action which in form of control. This box. Control strategy, and pollution control boards have to do it. They take control. So one, you have the control, then control has cost. You cannot go and say, close these buses. So many buses should be closed in this area because these are causing the accidents in the pollution. Because it has a cost. Public are using those buses. Then public has to do some other conveyance system. So it has a cost in that. So it means that whatever control you plan to stop that source or to shut that source, the cost benefit analysis has to be done. That what is the cost of closing that sources or managing the sources, and what would be the benefit to the public. Then you weigh those cost benefit. If the benefit is more, then it's prudent to close those sources. If benefit is less, then it means that cost is that source causing that action is not a prudent action. So it means this box has to be worked together with this box. But if I have put in the red because these all things we are weak, still we are weak. We don't have forecasting system, good forecasting system with any state pollution control board where they can work, their own engineers can work and forecast and then advise their seniors in the pollution control board that take action on that. And we don't have any economist working in the air pollution control board or any person who is expert in the cost benefit calculations, which can tell the regulators and decision maker, sir, this cost, if you do it, the benefit will be less, but the cost will be more. This is not there with us. While in other countries abroad, they have all these systems integrated in form of mathematical analysis, and they can know immediately that if I diverse these bus from this area to this road, they can tell you what would be the cost of diversion and how much benefit this area is going to get in terms of pollution concentration reduction and in terms of the health with the people. So this is an integrated mathematical equations have been put together, and they call it as a decision theaters in their country, right? So this we are weak. We have to strengthen these three boxes. Then comes the green infrastructure. This is one of the control measures, which is cheap control measure, which I will show you next slide and others coming slides. The green infrastructure, we are doing a better work, a good work in many cities, which is a part of the control. Then the other box is the implementation of air quality improvement plans. Based on these three boxes, you make plans for the at least 1 year or 2 years that we are going to work with this plan, because you have a forecasting system which tells you that in winter season, this would be the source causing incidences in the PM 2.5. So we will have to reduce these sources. Scenarios are developed using the mathematical equation, and then we have to plan accordingly. So these plans are made over here, right? When these plans are implemented, then evaluate the effectiveness of the controls. That is the evaluation, auditing we call it. That also we are weak. We take action, but we don't audit. For example, in Delhi, you must have heard, we took action about 3, 4, 5 years back, the even odd system. And we took the decision like anything, like this. One day, the politician come, chief minister, and took the action. Okay, tomorrow onwards, so much of odd number of vehicle will run, and this vehicle will not run. So this decision was not taken following this principle. It just they took it, thinking that it will reduce the pollution. But mind you that we have done a lot of exercise. We have, our students have measured the, many areas, and we found that the odd even system did not work. Opposite thing in some areas, the concentration increased, especially during the 7 o'clock, and during in the after 7 o'clock in the evening, people who used to come with their car numbers having not even number but odd number, they used to come at say 7 o'clock to the office, because this order was implemented from 8 to 6 in the evening. So they used to come before, so they are not caught. Then they used to stay in the office, and then in the evening they used to go after 8 o'clock in the evening. So during that period, lot of those car numbers who are not even numbers, right? They are not supposed to drive. A lot of car was there, and a concentration increased. So this auditing is also a very important part of the management plan. So I think this is a sort of a planning which helps in taking the decision. That's what this slide says. Next, please. Sorry. Now, these are some of the air quality monitoring stations. The first box which I told you, that how you site the air quality monitoring stations. So this is the Central Pollution Control Board, which I have taken from their website. And this is the criteria now which we have, which we follow for all cities in India based on the population. So if the population is more than 50 lakh, then this is the minimum number of manual station, which we call it as a reference station, and this minimum number of continuous ambient air quality monitoring station, which is automatic stations that we have to establish. So this is the criteria which is being implemented and set by the Central Pollution Control Board, and all the state pollution control board follow this criteria. Next, please. So next is about smart ambient air quality monitoring network. This is another a part of the monitoring network of air quality. Why I am calling smart? Because I told you in the beginning that these continuous air quality monitoring stations are very expensive. Their maintenance is expensive, capital cost is expensive, so we have to complement it with some cheap, affordable cost sensors or monitors. So that's what we call it as smart ambient air quality monitoring network, which we coined it as a hybrid air quality monitoring network. Right. So this is a new terminology which we are using augmenting this CAQMS automatic station with reliable sensors. Now I put this star reliable because we worked a lot on the sensors in Delhi, and we found, and we have published some report with a project funded by Ministry of Human Resources and Development, and we found that some sensors which are not based on the conventional technique but based on some imaging technique, they are much better and reliable than the common sensors which are being used these days. So these sensors we developed in our physics laboratory there, and we worked with the physics department, and this is aided by the MHRD scheme of Uchyatar Avishkar Yojana, and we took 4 years to develop these sensors, and it involves the laser camera into the system, which images the particles. This is only for the particles, not for the gases. So which images the particles laden with air, and then those particles images are analyzed using the digital image processing system, which are inbuilt into the sensor system, and then it gives a concentration of those particles. So these sensors are well made, and we are testing it into the IIT Delhi and IIT Madras campus. We have done a lot of experiments in this IIT Madras campus also, in which Professor Kamakoti group is also involved in designing the data transfer mechanism, and we have already filed the patent for these sensors. through IIT Delhi. Now, these are the comparison of different technologies of PM sensors now, which are being used. These are all the conventional sensors. When you see any sensor using, any people are using any sensor, these are the technology on which they based. Optical particle counter, light scattering photometer, light scattering nephelometer. These are all technology or techniques based on physics, principle of physics. And this is our sensor, which we have made. We call it as a Sensure Air PM 2.5 sensors. This is based on imaging technology. And all these technology has a lot of, problems because the sensors working on light scattering technology are very sensitive to humidity and temperature. And in India, the variation of temperature is from, in Delhi, I can tell you, 2 degrees Celsius to 47 or 50 degrees Celsius. This is the variation of temperature, right? And humidity varies from 70 degree to the 95, 70 to 95. So such a large variation, and if you put any sensor on this technology, they will be working as a shock loads to those sensors, and the sensor fails. The reliability is questioned, and they started giving wrong information. So that is the drawback of these technologies. But in abroad they work, because if you go to England or any European country or US, the weather there is not as variable as you find in India. Like I can tell you the England temperature, it remains throughout the year, it remains from 20 to 30. 30 very few times it comes. Generally it remains from say 10 degree in the winter, it goes up to 5 to 20, that's all. 20 maximum which goes. So the variation is more or less uniform there. So there are no shock loads to the sensors, right? But as you find in India. So that's why these sensors work better if you compare any Western countries. And those Western countries are trying to find market in India, which is not good because this may give erroneous result to you. Next, please. Now, HAQMN, sensor-based air quality monitoring network, which I call this as a hybrid air quality monitoring network, which is a new term which we have coined after that project under the Uchitara Avishkar Yojana. So these are some of the attributes of these sensors, which I have listed over here. And it is very useful in finding the hotspot. And second thing that we have recommended the Central Pollution Control Board, the sensor data should not be used for any regulatory purposes. Only continuous ambient air quality monitoring data should be used for regulatory purpose, but sensor data should be used only for your information. Right? Say, for example, if you want to know what is the concentration in your area, you take the sensor, reliable sensor, keep the sensor, then you take the data for one season, right? And then see whether what is the exceedances or not. What is the concentration. If you think that it is exceeding all the time this PM 2.5, then that area can be declared as the indicative hotspot. Then you can establish some good instrumentation like continuous ambient air quality monitoring station to, just to verify whether this is correct or not. So that sort of sensor data should be used for indicative, no regulatory purpose it should be used. That is the strong recommendation which we have given to the Central Pollution Control Board. Now, this is the citing criteria which we have developed by doing this project with IIT Madras and our group in IIT Delhi. This is the citing criteria which is conventional, that is the survey based, and quantitative, which is the using some mathematical technique, Kriging or IDE or interpolation. Generally at the moment what we do qualitative selection of the site to fix the instrumentation. You are traveling in a city, this is intersection, I think we should keep the instrument here, right? That is also correct, it's not wrong. Qualitative siting can be done. If there is school, we can keep the continuous ambient air quality monitoring station over there because schools are sensitive. Children are there. They are very, very sensitive to the pollution. Hospital, yes, that can be done. So qualitative. Oh, yeah, I'll finish it. Don't worry. So qualitative criteria is important, and this is the station categorization which we have given this one, in which we have added some, more criteria for establishing the station that we have given to the Central Pollution Control Board to improve their siting criteria. Now, this is the data transfer system which Professor Kamakoti's group has made, and this is done with Professor Shivaravindra's group over here, and which has been tried here in IIT Madras within the campus, that how the data is being transferred from these station sensor locations, and this is your master station where all the data is coming through using the GIS system. This is a sensor reliability analysis which we have developed with our group using the machine learning technology, using the artificial neural network, which I'm not going to explain over here, but this is the reliability analysis which we have done, because we have strongly suggested Central Board not to use sensor as it is. First, before you deploy, it should be tested for the reliability. And there is a protocol methodology which we have designed and given to the sensor, to Central Pollution Control Board. And based on this, using this hybrid air quality monitoring network, we developed a decision support system, which I was talking in the beginning, that we should have a decision theater. We should know, including the cost benefit analysis, we should know scenarios. If we close this source, what will happen? If we close this source, what will happen? How much it will reduce? So this is a decision support system which we have developed and which we have tested in Delhi condition, and which worked very well for one of the areas. So that is also has been under consideration with the Central Pollution Control Board. Then there are smart, interventions using the natural barriers, which I showed you in the air quality monitoring, urban air quality monitoring management framework in the beginning. Now these are the green infrastructure. This is in Delhi, which all these photographs is from Delhi, except this. This is also from Delhi. Some of the buildings. This I have taken one of my students working in the area of green infrastructure as a research scholar. They have taken. So this is some of the natural barriers can work very well in in that reducing the pollution where in our area. This is also one of the examples. This is one of the roads in the Chirag, Delhi, that you can see. This is a lot of green infrastructure has been used. There is a pedestrian which they have made. This is really recently developed. This flyover where they developed all these hanging, infrastructure. There is another road near Delhi University which has been given this type of cover, green cover, and these are the flyover pillars which has been used with this type of green infrastructure. So these are the smart green infrastructure, and selection criteria has been already designed, and a research scholar is working on this, is problem. Looking at the carrying capacity of these plants, that what is the carrying capacity of these plants, how long it can be used, and when it should be replaced. Now, this is another important, very interesting. If you come to Delhi, especially for boys and girls who are sitting, there's a Paharpur Business Center, and it is on the rooftop. About eight or 9 floor building is there. On the rooftop, they have made a rooftop garden, beautiful garden, and it is a company where all the software work is done, all the floors. So for the air conditioning system, they take the air from outside. It is the Nehru place, which is highly polluted place. So all the air has been taken from the outside. First, it passed through various plants, which are there. These are the pipes where the air is coming, and they are passed through these plants. And these plants, they filter the particulates. And then that cleaned air, it's about 60% air is cleaned, passing through this plant, taken to the air handling units, and then passed to each room in the building. So this is the very unique retrofitted green building. It's a very old building, it's about 30 years old, but they retrofitted it with the green infrastructure on the rooftop, and we have reduced the cost of energy for air conditioning the building a lot. So that is a worth seeing building in the Nehru place, and they are happy to organize that tour from various schools within Delhi to show to them. Smog tower, I think you must be hearing in the Delhi. There's another interventions for ambient air quality purification, but I can't tell you more about that. It is still in the experimental stage. Two places they are trying. One is in Connaught Place, another is in Anand Vihar. It is a highly polluted place. There's a lot of traffic pollution, and this is the center of the Delhi. So they are trying still. The experiments are going on for the smog tower, and they are claimed that within 1 kilometer of this smog tower, the air will be cleaned. And those who are sensitive to air pollution, who are asthmatic patients, they can come sit here and then inhale fresh air, and then they can go. That's what they claim. But still, experiments are going on. These are some of the overview of this technology of the smog tower. And then indirect interventions, I would like to share with you. It is invention from IIT Delhi, because solar power panels, they take a lot of space on the rooftop, because the space is crunch. But what IIT Delhi Physics Department has done, they have developed a vertical solar power. These are vertical solar power, and it takes less space, and they claim it is a startup has been started, and they claim that energy production is 25 to 30% more than the conventional solar panels. So, and it will take less space. So this project has been taken by the government, and a startup has been created in Bengaluru, and then they are going to make it commercialized very soon to get used in various buildings and other places. Then another thing which we have, we are suggesting is the generator pools in industrial area, because every industry has individual generators. But if we have one place, a big generator, and then a separate line is, laden, giving energy from generator to all the industry, then the control cost of the pollution coming out of the generator chimney will be less, because there you can have a good control, and then all the industry can get the energy from one generator, because they have a separate wiring for the generate energy for the generator. So we call it as a generator pool. It is very good technology for the big industrial area, because power failure is there, then people are using generator even these days. But one generator pool can reduce the pollution as well as the cost. Thank you very much. So this is some of the experience which I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
The next talk is by Professor Ravi Krishna from the Department of Chemical Engineering, IIT Madras. His research interests are in the area of fate and transport of contaminants in environment, bioaerosol release from solid waste, aerosol dynamics in dense urban environments, and the propagation of antibiotic resistance in the environment. Today's talk will be focused on technological innovations for a sustainable development. So we welcome you.
Good afternoon. I'll start the quiz here. So I think there's a quiz going to come after this. I want anyone who knows what are the three arms of sustainability. Anybody? Sustainability, you have heard the term. It's there on the screen here. Many of you have heard it outside. People are talking about sustainability. Do anyone of you know what is sustainability? There are three things in sustainability that people talk about. Any guess? No? Sustainability has three things. One is the environment, one is economics, and other one is the social aspects. When we call something as sustainable, we hope that it caters to all these three things. We have environment, which is the focus today, but along with that, we also look at economics of it, and we also look at society. what we ask is something is environmental, it causes environmental damage. We want to have a technology that protects the environment, but it cannot be a technology that is not cheap. If it is very expensive, nobody will use it. Okay? And then if it is very expensive, if it is cheaper and good, technologically good, but it is available to only a few people, is also not good. For example, the technology is developed in the United States and people in India cannot have access to it. We can't import it. They will not sell it to us. Then it's not useful to us. So there is something called as equitable technological development, economical technological development, and an environmentally effective technological development. So these are the three things in sustainability. So I'm not going to talk about this further. That's why the word sustainability is used a lot. It means that it has to be cheap, it has to be accessible, and it has to be effective. For scientists and engineers, we talk about all of these. And sometimes people lose track of one of these things. They will say, I make the most effective technology, but it may not be inexpensive. It may be very expensive and very difficult for you to get hold of. Okay? So these are the things that you have to keep in mind as you go further into your, many of you seem like you are in middle school and primary school, you'll go to high school and to college, you will see more and more of these things. Okay? People will keep using this word sustainability and you will know what it means when you start learning about more. So the director had mentioned that we want to start a department of sustainability. It's because engineers don't know much about economics, economists don't know much about technology and so on. So all these things are important. You have a full understanding of it. Okay. So I'm going to talk very briefly, very quickly, about 10-15 minutes won't talk a lot about technology because I cannot explain anything to you in 10 minutes. So just to give you a snapshot of what is important. This is what I consider as the overall map of what environmental control and management is. So other speakers have spoken about this. The health effects of humans and our environment, plants, and even sometimes in some cases we are even worried about buildings, the effect of environment on buildings and structures. And how do we know about this is because of whatever we see in the environment. The environment consists of several things. It has air, it has water, it has plants, it has animals, it has soil, sediment. In fact, what we call as compartments of the environment, they are all interlinked. If you have pollution chemical that is sitting in the soil, it can go to groundwater, it can go to air, it can also go into your plants and vegetables. Okay, and so all these things are there, and so they are interlinked. And then we would also like to know that if they are interlinked, then if we are exposed to it, what is the health effects that it has on us? And then if we find a health effect, we would like to know where is it coming from. The last 2 years, we have all been in this big storm of COVID. Okay, so many of you might have seen press reports, newspaper reports, and this is a very classic example of the evolution of this problem. People started discovering that people are falling sick, they are getting hospitalized, something is happening. What is happening? First question is what is happening and why is it happening? And people figured out there is some virus that is causing it. The next question they are asking is, where is this virus? Where is it coming from? Okay. Then third question is there a cure for it? If there is no cure, is there a temporary solution for it? For all of you, many of you are wearing masks. Some of you are not wearing masks. Do you know why you are wearing a mask? Because somebody has told you that sitting in this room, somebody is releasing something, coughing, it's coming in the air, and you may be affected by it, or you are breathing out and you don't want to breathe out, so you are blocking it. So all this comes under this diagram. If you put this COVID problem in this diagram, you can understand that's the same thing you do for any pollutant, for any problem in the environment. You are interested eventually in the health of receptors. What we call, as a general term, we call it receptor is anything. A receptor is anything that receives a particular agent. Okay, it can be an animal, plant, human being, building, whatever, wall. Okay, so this is the overall framework in which, so we can do several things. So we can control at the exposure level. We are wearing a mask, we are controlling at exposure. but your mask is also what we call as an emission control. So you're talking, you don't want something to go out. So when we cough, typically when we cough, you close your mouth. So that's emission control. But somebody else is sitting in front of you, they don't want to expose themselves, they'll put a mask. So that's emission exposure control. Okay. We do this all the time. We filter our water, that is exposure control. Okay. We don't pollute the from a factory, we don't want to pollute from our emission, that is emission control. Automobiles have emission control, we have masks. So these are all different types of control things that we can have. There's another type of thing what we call as remediation. Remediation is something that we do in the environment. It is neither emission control nor exposure control. It is in the environment. So somebody's soil is already polluted, it's over. You can't do emission or exposure there, but it will cause health effects later in the future. So you want to protect that. So you go and try to clean it. And that's called as remediation. And this Professor Khare had mentioned this smog towers. That's an example of remediation. We are trying to clean the air. Okay? It's a very big exercise. And if you also look at it, all this is linked to the environment itself. The atmosphere is a huge interconnected thing. Whatever is happening in the United States can affect what's happening in India and so on. What is happening in this room can affect what's outside can affect here, and so different scales of it. The same thing happens in soil, in water, in the entire the environment. So your understanding of the environment is very important for you to understand what happens to chemicals when they get into the environment. So there are few questions that you would like to ask. These are the important questions that one would ask. Okay? So look at it. I've just highlighted the first one because the next topic is that, but you can look at all the questions. Is there anything in the environment that is harmful? That comes from looking at the impact. People didn't worry about many of these things until there an impact hit them. So they're saying that something is happening. I'm getting a cold every day when I go to this particular place, I'm getting an allergy. So there's a health effect. So you try to find out why am I getting this? Okay? Once we do that, we try to find out what is there in the environment. The next question you want to ask is, how harmful is this and where is it coming from? What is its pathway? How is it going? Okay, so in the context of COVID, if you are sitting very far away from me, if you cough, I may not even receive the particles of your cough. It may go somewhere else. It may go into the air conditioning duct. It may go and hit the seat in front of you, and that's it, over. End of story. There is no effect. But if you're sitting in a different direction, if you're sitting in the direction of the breeze, and it may come to you. So this question of what happens to it, or what is the pathway and where is it going, all these questions are there. So if there are harmful substances, what is the source? What happens to this material when it gets in the environment? This is a very important question. We'll look a little bit about this. We'll see a little bit about this in the few slides later. And can we predict the behavior and the associated risk? The aspect of risk is important because when we say risk, what is risk? Risk means there is a probability of something happening. Okay, 10 times, 1 out of 10 times this may happen. So people make decisions based on risk. Okay? Risk is never 0 or risk is never 100%. It's always some probability in between. So people try to make decisions based on that, and these decisions are based on economics and other logistical constraints. Okay? So people make decisions based on this. So we are seeing that in the COVID scenario. So people make decisions. People say, okay, no more mask required. But does that mean risk is 0? We still see cases around, which means that the risk is not 0. But we are doing that because it's extremely uncomfortable, affects productivity. People don't come to work. You can't sit in the classroom and listen to teachers can't teach effectively, and all these issues are there. So this is a risk we manage. We define a risk and say we are okay with it. Okay, so that's something we decide as a society. This is where the society part comes in, and that's part of legislation and all that. And the last part is we know all about this. Now we need to act. So what do we do? So technology and science can be used for us to get our way to do this. So I very quickly go through this. Some of these kind of slides were already presented by Professor Khare, but this applies to other media as well, the water as well as the soil and other things. So we try to monitor, we do environmental monitoring first. This is very important because this defines the problem, lets us know what the problem is. Okay? So we do soil, air sampling, this is a fixed station, this is soil sampling, this is water sampling. And we get data like this, we get a map. We like to see a map, right? We like to see where is high pollution, where is low pollution, and therefore we can make sense. Somebody gets a visual map of something, it's very easy for people to make decisions very quickly. You don't have to know any science and technology. You say, all I say is in this image, I say there's some red thing here, looks like it is decreasing outside, which means that there is something in the red point, there is some problem. So you will go and see what is the problem. Something is there, a broken well or a factory or a leak or something like that. Okay. This is soil. This is a soil groundwater, underground groundwater spread off an oil somewhere. Okay. And this is the PM 2.5 particulate matter map in India. This is all based on data, either satellite data or ground data that is collected. A lot of data is collected and you have a map. So you can see that this is very high, this is very low. So we know where the problem is. And this is again groundwater quality index map. So data collection is very, very laborious. It takes money, it takes effort. It's not that easy. So it's a wish list, right? You see the science fiction movies, sometimes they will say, they will shine something and they'll see a map of entire thing. That's where we want to go as a technology. We say we quickly get a map of everything. But it's not that easy. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of years of research and development. And this is again River Ganga. You can see that people go and sample the river and see that there are some very highly polluted places all along, except the first few places. The rest of it is polluted, and they will then connect this. Why is this pollution happening? Is this because of population? Is it because of activity along the river and so on? And then they will try to make decisions based on it. Environmental monitoring is also done, as Professor Khare was mentioning, in the sensor network. There is also an increasing this thing for having mobile sensors. A lot of people want to use your cell phones as sensors. The only problem is the cell phone the position of the cell phone is very variable. Nobody is holding a cell phone like this and walking. It's inside the pocket or inside a bag or something like that. So, but people want to use it because it's everywhere. Almost everybody has a sensor now. So there is a move to try to see how we can leverage that. So there's mobile sensors. People are using cycles, cars, autos, and things like that. So to get some sensors, and this, for example, this cycle was a demonstration. A lot of instruments loaded on this, and there's a lot of networks and all that. A lot of work is being done by Professor Shiva's group and also to Professor Khare's group to look at this kind of networks. These are mobile vehicles, and the other groups in IIT were also doing this. And there is, again, you have to collect this data and form a network and use it usefully. There's also this big move to use drones. A lot of drones, you have heard about drones in news. Drones are used to go and collect samples where you can't go physically. It's very difficult to go. It's the middle of a forest, you have a forest fire or something. You want to go and see air samples, you can't go. Difficult to go, hazardous environment. You can have a robotic device to go up. For air quality, this is very useful. In some restrictions are there, but it's fairly useful. People have used this also. The other part of monitoring is not just measuring what is there in the environment, but also look at how much of it is being released into the environment. Okay. So Professor Khare mentioned mathematical equations. One of these mathematical equations, one of the parameters, that input that is necessary is what is the input, what is amount of emission. So in this room, if I want to measure what is the risk of me standing here without a mask, I need to know how many of you are actually emitting something. Like if you're coughing and singing, how much of the particles are there, how much of it is I'm exposed to, which means that I need to know how much you people are releasing. So this is an environment. Here we have a lot of scenarios where we have things like forest fires, agricultural emissions from pesticides from agricultural fields and all that. So very large areas of agricultural land in India and everywhere. So pesticides are used. Many of them are fairly hazardous. Some of them are volatile. And then there are things like crop burning and things like that. So we like to measure what is the emissions coming from these things. This is not a very easy thing to do because at least in the air environment, air is moving all over the place and it's very difficult for us to measure it. So this is a challenge. So some of the issues that we are looking at are all this. And this is what you can do with data. You can plot data and you can make sense of data. So For example, this is some data similar to what Professor Shilnagendra's group has also done. So you look at time of the day versus concentration. You say some parts of the day the concentration will go up and some parts it will come down. So Professor Khare was mentioning 7 o'clock the peak it goes up and 12 o'clock it comes down, 5 o'clock it goes up. And you can make a connection, right? What happens at 7 o'clock? Because the number of vehicles are high or somebody is burning something at 7 o'clock. So you say maybe this is the reason. So you stop that burning and measure again. Then you say no, nothing is happening. It's still high, which means it's coming from somewhere else. So you make these kinds of very logical connections. So the data is very useful. So and sensing is the most important part of that. So I think the biggest challenge that we have is having reliable sensors which we can put everywhere, as many as possible. Then there are a lot of other scientists who will come and do other works in order to help us making decisions for government and for just individuals making decisions. If I decide I don't want to go out today because the air quality is bad, it's a decision I make, right? But I must have the information to make that decision. So that information comes from these kinds of sensor networks and data analysis. So the other thing is toxicology. This is something that that is, I think, in the background of all of this. This is the health effect. Yeah, so there is harmful this thing. So how much of harm does it do to the human body? That's biology, okay? Physiology and biology. So people, from an environmental point of view, people do this in what is called as epidemiology. I don't want to get into that. It's essentially example is this. A very classic example between this is connection of cigarette smoking and lung disease. This is a very long debate, several decades. People were trying to make connections between these two. The cigarette smoking causes lung disease. And then people were saying, no, it doesn't. There's something else is causing it. So this is a very difficult kind of experimental thing to do. So there are epidemiology is used for that. People also use toxicology directly. Toxicology is done where you actually take an organism, inject some chemical to it and see what happens to it. Simple. Right? How much effect does it have? This is not usually, typically people used to do animals, take animals and test it. It's decreasing. This kind of activity is decreasing. People are using what is called as a different kind of approach to doing this. And they also use mathematical models. Epidemiology is of course being used for this. What happens to it when it gets in the environment? Very quickly, as pictorially, you can see so many things happening in the environment. Okay, things go up and down. It goes into the water, air, rains. The rain comes down. It goes into groundwater. It goes into rivers. It goes into oceans. Chemicals get cycled. You learn in your physics, chemistry, biology that there is carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. Same way, other chemicals also can cycle. They can go up and down wherever they can go. Okay? And similar to this is also in air. It can go really high. It can go into the stratosphere, or it can be very close to your environment and it can cycle there itself. Okay, so different kinds of. So there are a lot of other challenges that have come up now. This one of them is what is called as emerging contaminants. Every time you hear a new product comes into market, nanoparticles, you have new drugs, you have new pharmaceuticals, new medicines, new personal care products. All of them, we don't know what the impact on environment in the future. So companies that make this are required to do this analysis, what we call as a life cycle analysis. And this is what is the snapshot of fate and transport modeling. Professor Khare was mentioning modeling. It means that it's predicting if this happens, what will happen? Which area should you evacuate? Should you evacuate at all? Okay. These kind of decisions are made for these kind of maps. And of course, it is emission control. This is, I'm not going to talk anything about this because a lot of you already know this. Many of these devices exist in your homes, probably in your schools, in your homes, in offices. You have water treatment plants which separate harmful substances from the water you drink, the air we breathe. We have air purifiers everywhere. And there are challenges, and the challenges are using materials that do not have an impact in the future. Okay, so which means that you have to look at novel materials, new materials. Reduction of energy is the big thing. As the chairperson TNPCB mentioned, energy is a very big factor, and we are trying to get energy from different, and we have the efficiency to handle emerging contaminants, and in this fashion. And then in terms of solid waste, people are looking at, things like waste to wealth approaches of solid waste and alternative land use, all these things. All right, so I think that's about it. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I can take maybe one for a minute.
Questions from any one of you?
Okay, thank you very much.
Just one more talk. Kalyani madam, working with we're going to. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, madam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we can see you, and can you please share your screen? Yeah, good afternoon. We can't hear you. See that your mic.
Is it not audible, sir?
Okay. Just you.
Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Madam, you can speak
Sir,
now.
am I audible?
Yes, madam. Please go ahead. Share the screen and please go ahead.
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
I don't have a presentation as such, but I would be speaking just like that, sir. So I am not
Sure.
any
Please.
PPTs because this is basically the topic which was given was the role of community in environmental management. So whatever actions we do on a regular basis becomes a habit. And these habits, when they are adopted by a group of people, it becomes a culture. So whatever government schemes are actually taken up, it can never become a success unless there is people's participation and cooperation. Just as there is a saying that single hand will not produce sound, but group of hands put together, they produce sound. So some of the things which we can do as an individual and as a community for the environment management are reusing. So we should try to reuse materials rather than just throwing them off. And then we should recycle the materials. Also, we should have the right choice of transport. Wherever possible, we should use public transport. Wherever possible, we can walk. And as far as possible, we should reduce the use of electricity. Whenever we are not using a particular place, then the extra lights and fans that are actually running should be put off. And when we are not using it, try to avoid such unnecessary usage of electricity. And then composting of solid waste is one more method of environment management. And whenever there is a need, only during that time, we need to use all the energy resources. For example, even food is one of a resource. We should use prudently the food resource and need not waste it. See, most of the time we find that we keep lot of food items in a particular plate and then just simply throw them off. but imagine the amount of energy, time, cost, which is involved in producing the food. At least this would be useful for somebody who is in need. So kindly avoid taking excess of food, which you really are unable to consume, and then you're throwing it into the bin. And also avoid using toxic chemicals. And as individual, we should be able to promote tree plantation. And then you should spread the word of awareness. Again, we should always involve ourselves in cleaning up activities. For example, in rural areas, wherever there is water bodies, we need not wait for the government to come and give a helping hand. As public, those we are using these water bodies, we should join together to clean up these water bodies, which most of the NGOs are taking up presently. And even roadside cleaning is also being done as part of the activity by most of the communities. And we should avoid using the usage of non-biodegradable materials as far as possible. And we should avoid using pesticides. We should all help in protection of forest. And then mainly on a day-to-day basis, we can have segregation of waste. For example, as a householder, if you are in your house, on a daily basis, the vegetable waste which is getting collected can be put in pots and made into organic manure. So you need not throw them into the bin. Or if you have, in olden days, we used to have cows and other animals, herbivores near our house. So we used to throw them, these vegetable waste and other things to the animals. But presently, we don't have any cows in the city area. So what we can do is you can compost them in small pots and use them as organic manure for further growing plants in your balcony, or it can be even on your rooftop gardens. And again, the water, mainly we have to adopt rainwater harvesting system. So whatever excess water, and again, the water which you use in the kitchen can also be used for recycling, and then that can be used for watering the plants which you have in your rooftop garden, or it is plants which you keep in your garden. And again, we think that this is not possible, like it's easy to preach, but it is difficult to practice. But I can give you some examples, which are standing examples, which I found in the recent times, that you can really practice. And it is not only preaching. I think the main example would be Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, which actually started the e-commute, wherein instead of using vehicles, they started using bicycles, and then they started teaching the students to walk to school when the distance is very close to the school, and using common vehicles or buses when the distance is quite far. And day before yesterday and yesterday, there were award ceremonies, and almost more than 24,000 students were given certificates for adopting this e-commute. So it is possible. It's not that it is not possible, but it is possible, and we have these examples. And again, I found one more interesting thing, like the Little Flower School in Kundratur. They are actually encouraging the students to plant trees, and they are giving credit points. So these kids who plant the trees have to take care of the trees, and the height of the tree and the watering which they do, they're all considered. On a monthly basis, they are given credit points, and up to 10,000 credit points they give in a year for the kid. If the kid gets how many credit points, based on that, there is a remission of fee. For suppose they are getting 10,000 credit points, the school fees is reduced by 10,000. So this is one more initiative which is taken by the school that needs to be appreciated. And last year, around 175 students have been benefited by this method. So the parents also encourage the children, because there is a reduction in their burden, it is something like you earn and then you learn. So the students are able to earn their own money to pay the fees by way of just planting trees and protecting them. And again, Professor Rajadurai, actually, he was a person who had actually entry for environmental awards. And we found that he has invented low carbon emission vehicles. So on using these low carbon emission vehicles, we can reduce the air pollution. And one more example is that Alagu Ravichandran of Madurai. He's actually a PT master. but he has got so much of interest with birds and local plant varieties that every week he actually conducts a club and teaches the kids about the local plant varieties, their uses, and even about the birds which are visiting in those areas and the importance of these birds. Unless such awareness is given to the students, we will not really relish or cherish the importance of these birds and their role in the environment, because God has created these plants, animals, and other species with a specific purpose. Every living being has a specific purpose in this world, and once they do their own job, the environment is kept clean, and we will be able to manage this environment. And one classic example is this Meendum Manjappai by our Honorable Chief Minister, who actually has taken this great initiative to reduce or to completely ban this use of plastic bags. Now, almost every person and we have to take these cloth bags. It's not only just Manjapai, but it is a cloth bag. In fact, the government has taken initiative through a pollution control board, put up vending machines wherever possible, when areas like Coimbatore market, when people do not have their own bags, they can put a 10 rupee coin into the vending machine and then take these Manjapai. And again, planting of trees. See, we know that the atmospheric oxygen is around 21%. And in fact, when the Honorable Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Youth Affairs, he was mentioning that this people tree or the Arasamaram is able to give around 25%. When you are under the people tree, it gives around 25% of oxygen. And in a bamboo group, it is around 28%. So you can actually feel the difference. So you should have the right choice of trees to be planted in a particular area. And now the government is also initiating local woodlots around the villages and other areas. So government is taking a lot of initiative. For example, the Green Mission, which is going to plant around 30 crores of seedlings every year, so that in the next 10 years, the total forest cover will be increased from 23% to 33%. Once again, I request all the individual and the community to join hands so that you can strengthen the government. So government alone will not be able to do single-handedly such a huge task unless individual realizes. You know, like in Tamil, there is a saying, "Siru thuli peru vellam." So as individuals, everyone should realize our role and responsibility. And as individual, if we are able to do our role properly as a society, everybody will be able to contribute. So it's my earnest request on this World Environment Day celebration that individuals should realize their responsibility, as everybody has their, we are asking for our rights. Similarly, we have our own duties and responsibilities to perform in the society. So I thank Dr. Shiv Nagendran for giving me this opportunity to speak before you. Though it was a short message which I am conveying, I think I have made my point clear. Thank you so much, sir, and wishing you all the best for conducting this World Environment Day celebration, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks very much, madam, for your time. And although it's a online platform has helped in various aspects, even as you rightly said, reducing even carbon footprint. Thank you very much in a short notice, and also giving you wonderful message to all the younger generation, the young minds. Thank you very much, madam. So we'll be in touch with you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So now. I'm sure that all of you are very eager to answer some quiz competitions. But before that, you also know, sometime I told you, your commitment makes a lot of difference. For example, tomorrow onwards, I will always go by bicycle. I'll go by walk. Suppose if you make, then that is a decision will definitely make some difference to the others. but you are trying to commit yourself to the environment. So in that context, if you see that the policies makes a lot of influence in that. So that is how the policies comes with our mindset. The policies comes with the requirement for addressing the environment. So I thought we would like to have a speaker from industries to speak on policy aspects. But unfortunately, due to some emergency, he could not able to join us today. But now there is a replacement. We have one Dr. Madhusudan, who is working with us for quite long, and he was vast experience working in Central Pollution Control Board, one of the regulatory agency. So I'll request him take about some 5 minutes to just to briefly tell about how the government policies are influencing. After that, then we will start our quiz without wasting, because we are already delayed, but we will do that one. Thank you. So thank you, Dr. Madhusudan, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I can understand the message, and also I feel that being the part of the organizers, I will not take much time. And looking at the audience, I'm really delighted. And also, you people are really, many of your peer groups, they can't come and sit in this group and listen the eminent lectures as well as the messages from various eminent personalities. I definitely feel that you people are really lucky to be part of this Chennai, and also lucky that you are here with your parents. Most of them are with your parents. Definitely, we are here for the celebration of World Environment Day. You are all aware that we celebrate the 5th June throughout the globe. The United Nations flagship day to promote the worldwide awareness and action for the environment. So everybody is aware of the history of World Environment Day. So why World Environment Day is celebrated? If you look into why we celebrate the World Environment Day, it is the message the world wanted to give to each individual. That is the issues like wastages or losses of food, deforestation, increasing the global warming, like that, how you can address and what are the messages you should take. That is why the World Environment Day is being celebrated worldwide, and the message is very clear for every nations to follow it. So before going into the details, let me just show you how this regulatory framework, how the central government and state government work together for implementing or making the law or the rules or the acts for the country. So if you look into the central government or the inter-authority network, how these laws are created, we can see that we have parliament at the central and the state assembly at the state level. So the acts and the rules are made in the parliament, and these all are implemented through different ministries and different boards in central level, and of course in the state level, the state assembly passes the rules, and the state government and the machinery of the state, that is State Pollution Control Board, implements such laws and the rules in the state level, and how the interreactive approach and how the directions, how the funds are transferred between central and state is also explained here. So when we talk about the pollution control or pollution activity, we can see that the Central Pollution Control Board is the responsible agency in the central to implement the rules and acts related to pollution control. The roles and responsibilities of the Central Pollution Control Board, I am not detailing into it. If we look into the major pollution control acts and rules, we can see that Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act was enacted in 1974, followed by the Air Prevention and Pollution Control Act in 1981, and then the Environmental Protection Act in 1986, followed by different rules related to plastic waste management, solid waste management, the noise pollution control, the biomedical waste management. Like these acts and rules are enacted whenever there is a need for such rules and acts. So if you look into the air quality in the regulations India in details, we can see that in 1974 the acts were enacted, and followed by 1981 the Air Act was enacted, and different standards and regulations like air quality index, introduction of graded action plan, the National Clean Air Act, and recently in 2021 the National Commission for NCR region was enacted. So I am not taking much about your time. If you look into the Chennai city, in Tamil Nadu, there are 4 non-attainment cities in Tamil Nadu. Why these non-attainment cities have come means from 2010 to 2015 data of air quality, when we have analyzed, we have found that ambient air quality, particularly the particulate matter, were exceeding the standards. Because of the exceedance of the standards, in 4 cities in Tamil Nadu, Government of India, Government of Tamil Nadu, together they have declared that these are the non-attainment cities. So out of 122 non-attainment cities, Tamil Nadu have 4 non-attainment cities, and Chennai, where you living, is one of the non-attainment cities. So I just wanted to explain what are the steps as we are taking for improving the air quality network in under this program, where Indian Institute of Technology, that we are the one of the institute of repute for helping this urban local bodies, so that they can have their air quality or the standards within the stipulated standards. So if you look into this NCAP system, it was launched by ministry in 2019, and the conventional standards and regulations were not here. Here the importance is we have a plan and a time-bound reduction target by considering the base year as 2017. So our target of reducing the air quality or the air pollution, the parameters by 20 to 30% by 2022 or 2024, 2025. So if you look into the structure of the institutional framework, we can, in the national level, we have the Apex Committee, the Steering Committee, and in the state level, we have air quality monitoring committees. And in the city level, we have the city or district committees are there. They will be overseeing the activity of this national clean air program. So if you look into the efforts of IOR or the institute, we advise them the source-wise cause analysis of air pollution by hotspot identification, micro-level action plans, land use plan pattern for the identified area, air quality profiling for the area which we identified. Apart from that, we are also assessment of the source of the pollution, air quality monitoring and emission inventory. These are the major steps as a institute of repute. We give assistance to the Trichy, Madurai and Chennai corporations. So we work together with these corporations and we try to give them the required help or the technical knowledge how to overcome these issues and how we can reduce the air quality into 20% by 2024. This is the mandate which we have taken and we are working together with these corporations for achieving it. So I think with this I am stopping here and the madam in the previous discussion, previous message, she has given a lot of inputs how the students can control or students can help the community in controlling the pollution. So I just add as a this one, you can also be part of the your day-to-day life, that is shortening your shower, try to eat sustainable food, reuse or recycle as much as you feel, turn off the tap which is not required when you are not in really not required, shop with a conscious, that is use the bag which is provided by the government of Tamil Nadu and try to avoid the plastics. From July onwards, Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu is strictly banning the single-use use of plastics. So it is time for all of you to practice and make aware that you will not be using the single-use plastics in your day-to-day life. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your views. This brings us to the end of the technical session. I request Professor Shivalagendra to present our token of appreciation to the speakers present with us. I invite Dr. Madhusudan for the same. I also invite Professor Ravi Krishna onto the dais.
Now we'll start our quiz, which I'm sure that you are all eagerly waiting, because you are prepared to, answer some of the questions. Do you think we also contribute some pollution? Which pollutant we contribute? Are we source of pollutant? Yeah, so I'm just looking at each one of you. Do you contribute some pollution? Which one? Waste is okay. I'm just trying to say, look at it. Now in this hall, you are also contributing some pollution. Noise pollution, yes, very fantastic. While giving talk, you were, you heard some lot of noise.
Pollution.
Water pollution. In this room, are we contributing water pollution?
Air pollution.
Yes. Which air pollutant? Okay, basically, which pollutant? Okay, what we take, what we breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Carbon dioxide and oxygen.
Carbon dioxide. Do you think carbon dioxide is having any relations with climate change? Yes, is it not? Carbon dioxide is having climate change. If more and more carbon dioxide is there in the ambient environment, what will happen? Global warming. So Chennai is become now, it is already 43, 42, it's going, and it will going to reach 47 degree. Am I right? Yes, we should not do that. We should try to. So now quickly, students have come out with some quick questions to all of you. So you answer it. And I also want to thank you all for joining, even though, do you need some kind of an, appreciation to join hands with environment? No, you all come voluntarily to safeguard our environment for the next future? Yes? Are you sure? Okay, should I call all of you as an environmental, not a warrior, I don't know, you don't have to fight. I want to call it as an environmental gems so that, we will make our planet much more beautiful, clean. People will, next generation should feel that, okay, they have done an excellent job, then they should do it better than what we have done. Are you all agreeing? So we will all going to help us in joining hands with your own local. I just wanted you to register year afterwards, and probably every year, World Environment Day, you will get a special invitation to come here to participate in the World Environment Day. Are you all agreeing to this? You are all committed to do some small time for it, only one day, and we'll do it. We'll plan some more activities from the next World Environment Day. So now I'll hand over, things to my students. They will going to conduct a quiz to all of you, there is some prizes for those who are, answering the right question. So over to you all.
So am I audible to the back? People in the back? Okay, if possible, can you guys come a little bit front to the occupy the front seats quicker? And so we'll have questions in level 1 and level 2, and we'll be asking questions, and whoever knows the answer, kindly raise your hand and then answer the question. If one answers the question, if it's a wrong, then we'll be giving it to the audience, and then if somebody answers it, that's all. And there won't be multiple chances here. So before we start, let's warm up. So how many of you guys are in standards between third and sixth grade? Okay, nice. And anyone between 6th to 8th? Very good. And 8th to 10th? Anyone in the 10th grade? 8th, okay. That's nice, that's nice. Anyone from +1 and +2? +1, +2, okay, nice. Okay, that's all right. Okay, let's start then. Okay, so it's visible to everyone, isn't it? You have to wait until I ask the question, please. Thank you. So the first question is, name the atmospheric layer closest to the ground. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. Right. That's good. That's good. That's a nice start. Now let's go to the next question. The most abundant gas on the Earth's atmosphere. And parents, you shouldn't help your kids.
Carbon.
Thank you. Please do not help your kids. Okay, who answered it?
Carbon, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's right, but we can't give. Okay, nitrogen is the right answer. Thank you. The next question is, the study of weather is called, is it meteorology, paleontology, aeronomy, aerology? Somebody, yeah. That's right, that's right. Louder. Okay, meteorology is the right answer. Thank you. Please encourage your friends. You can clap. Okay, the next question. Okay, it's for between third grade to sixth grade. Let's give them a chance, please. Who is known as the father of evolution?
Albert Einstein.
I'm sorry. That's right. Nice answer. Nice answer. Okay. It's Charles Darwin. Thank you. And we can give only if it is right on the first attempt because we are reducing the chance. Okay, the next question. The production of light by living beings is known as?
Bioluminescence.
That's nice. That's good answer. Please encourage others. Please encourage others. Okay, the next question. Which instrument is used to measure wind velocity? Okay.
Thermometer.
Actually, she has answered. Yeah, she has answered. Okay, you give me another answer. What do we use barometer for?
We use barometer when it will rain and when it will like temperature.
No, barometer is actually for the pressure. But nice try. That's okay. We'll give you a chance next time. It was nice try. Okay. The natural process of the atmosphere heating through the trapping of free radiated infrared radiation is known as. So the trapping of heat because of
Greenhouse effect.
Okay, that's nice. That's a good answer. It's the greenhouse effect. Okay, somebody can tell me the difference between greenhouse effect and global warming? Anyone? Greenhouse effect and global warming difference? +1, +2? Anybody? The difference between greenhouse effect and global warming? Okay, let me ask the question. I don't need a gift. So, greenhouse effect is the natural release of carbon dioxide and other gases, and then that would keep the earth warm. But the global warming is the one which we release, human anthropogenic sources and other sources which we release, and that causes the excess heat, raising temperature, causing climate change. So, it's the simplest way. So, this question is PVC is a very toxic form of plastic. What is the full form of PVC?
It's polyvinyl chloride, sir.
Okay. Who answered it? Okay. That's right. That's right. That's right. So do we have something called polyvinyl camphor? Do we have a product called polyvinyl camphor? No, we don't. Okay. The next question. In which of the following process earthworms decompose? You know, I was actually saying before starting this quiz, like you guys are going to eat my questions. And that's true. Who answered it? Vermicomposting? Okay, that's really nice. Okay, which of the following is not an air pollutant? Yellow t-shirt, young boy.
Nitrogen gas.
Absolutely right. Okay, since you guys know this, so let's have a tricky question here. Is carbon dioxide considered an anthropogenic pollutant when it comes to health effects? or it's not a pollutant? When it comes to health effects, is it a pollutant or not? Carbon dioxide.
It's a pollutant.
It's a tricky question. Even we are trying to find out if it's a pollutant or not. Depending on the circumstances, it's a pollutant. If you are sitting in a room full of carbon dioxide, it causes like lot of hemoglobin will be formed, like carboxyhemoglobin, and you'll get dizziness. You'll fall asleep. So in that way, it's a pollutant. And generally looking, it's not. So it's a tricky question. Still, we are trying to bifurcate it. Okay, let's go to the next part of it. Okay. So which Indian emperor in 3rd century BC passed a law that would prevent the subjects to cut trees for personal use? Girl in the pink dress. Somebody can give the mic to.
Ashoka. Ashoka.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry. Okay. So more than half of the breathable oxygen in the world comes from where? Oh, she has already answered the question. Who else will? Yeah. Okay. Let me ask another question then. So, which is the biggest source of volatile organic compounds, VOCs, in the world? Do you know like VOC is the pollutant, volatile organic compounds? Okay. Another question. So you know that recycle, reuse, and reduce, like we have the three R's. So which is the reuse part, which your mom uses every day in her kitchen? What is it? Which is actually a pollutant.
Rubber plants.
No, reusing it. Vegetable waste, she's going to reuse continuously or just once? Right. It's plastic bags. It's reuse. Your mom knows it. Yeah, she has been doing it since ages. Reuse the plastic bags. They don't throw it out. So, when is the first World Environment Day was held? No. Thank you. That's the right answer. So many people know the answer. I'm sorry. We are very limited here. Okay. So CFCs, which means chlorofluorocarbons, are greenhouse gases that have caused a rise of temperature 0.3 degrees Celsius globally. So name the CFC that is used in refrigerators.
HFC.
No, we are talking about CFCs. Somebody has already answered the question. Okay, I'll give another chance. B, which is?
Freon.
Yeah. It's freon. That's right. He already has it. That's really nice. That's really nice. You guys know a lot for your age. That's really nice. Keep learning. So the next question, what important discovery do we owe to the chemists Frank Rowland and Mario Molina? Okay, raise the hand, and when we give the mic, kindly answer at that point of time. Okay, is it crop circles, air coolers, ozone layer depletion, Arctic Circle ice melt?
Crop circles.
Crop circles, unfortunately, that's a no. Just
Option D.
option D. Sorry. So crop circles, it's a myth. And air coolers, no. It's ozone layer depletion. It's ozone layer depletion. They have found out about the ozone layer, how chlorofluorocarbons and other compounds are affecting the ozone layer and depleting it. So maybe one for the next. So what does 350, the magic number of climate change, refer to? Is it 350 million kiloliters of ocean water, 350 parts per million of carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere, 350 million hybrid electric vehicles, or 350 million megawatts of energy?
Option B, 350 parts per million of carbon dioxide emissions.
That's right. Nice answer. The next question, which of the following is not correct regarding the disposal of waste by landfilling, which is not correct? Option A, it's an economical method. B, not a sustainable method. C, foul gases are produced. D, separation of different types of waste is not required. So we are asking about which is not right.
Option D.
Unfortunately, no.
Option C. Option D. Option B.
Okay, it's option B, not a sustainable method, but the question was already wrongly answered. But it's a nice try. Next, biodegradable plastics are made from, are they polymers from edible oil, plant-based biopolymers, polymers from crude oil, or none of the above?
Polymers from crude oil.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. Okay. For +1 plus
B. Option B.
That's right. It's plant-based biopolymers. Polymers from crude oil, they are the plastic bags. Okay, so we are almost done. Leachate is a colored liquid that comes out of septic tanks, imhoff tanks, sanitary landfills, aerated lagoons.
D.
That's right, sanitary landfills. That's nice. Okay. Last question. Forest Conservation Act was established in which year?
1952.
Okay, everybody has answered it wrongly. It's 1980. Thank you, but everyone has answered each of the choices and left with 1980. Okay. So can somebody define me what is pollution? It's the last question. What is pollution? How do
Please raise your hand.
How do you define it? Like to encourage someone new?
Pollution is harmful substances in the air and land and water.
Which is harmful substance? How do you say which is harmful?
It affects humans like malaria, dengue, typhoid.
Those are, yeah, which affects humans and also their socio-economic and other living beings as well. That's right. It's a very good answer. Yeah.
Pollution is anything but it affects the environment.
And humans, socio-economic causes, everything. That's right. That's very nice.
The unwanted things to the environment.
Not exactly. You cannot define how the things are not unwanted for the environment.
Pollution affects the earth.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We are coming to end of this program. Although we have took little time more than what we decided, we thought we will over by 4:30. But nevertheless, it took little time because sometimes coordination it requires, like, Earth is rotating, so we've tried to figure out what is the lag. We got some almost 15 minutes. Now it is 20 minutes late. But another 5 minutes, while we will just conclude it things, and then we will have some snack and tea, which is right time for all of you to, before you go for a play, take some energy with having some snacks and tea, and then we'll close that. So I'll request, as you all aware of it, Air Quality Management Association is a first of its kind in India. We don't have an Air Quality Management Association. Particularly, many people work on air quality management, but as an association, the idea is to voluntarily come forward and then see that what we can do for improving the life. I'm talking about life in the sense not only human being. We'll try to look at it both material and living and non-living things, so that everybody will get affected with all our environmental parameters. So now I'll request to all the office bearers of the committee with Air Quality Management Association. I request Professor Kare, Chairman, just to be on the dais, and Dr. Madhusudan, then Dheeraj and Shruti. So all these people be on the dais. Just keep one space for me to. I will also come and sit with you. Okay. So Professor Kare can take the center as a chairman, center chair. And Madhusudan, you can right on that side, and Dheeraj, you can come. One of you, just one of you sit that side. Yeah. Okay. Keep one space for me. Okay. So now it's we will going to start valedictory, and any of you voluntarily on a day-to-day basis. For example, if you say that, okay, I did something good for the environment, please feel free to write to us, so that we will see that what is the right thing you did it for the environment, and then probably we will try to inculcate for the rest of the others. Then second thing is, so we also wanted to have a kind of an ambassador. So environment management ambassadors, like you have many ambassadors, all the film stars and sports persons, and of course many models. They are all becoming ambassadors. So we also wanted what is you are the beautiful germs like stars and angels. You should also become an ambassador for managing the environment. So we would like to call you as an ambassador. Maybe we will try to locate it to which area you are representing, and probably we will try to see that we will kind of have some kind of a program. Locally, you will going to lead, and we want you to develop some leadership skill in managing the environment in that particular area, and probably we will try to see that what kind of support may be required from the IIT side and also from the government side, maybe with the local ward. We'll try to see that what best we can do it, and see that we can manage the environment in a better way. So I just wanted to take this point to the air quality management has been initiated, and I would like to thank Professor Kare. And he traveled all the way from Delhi to Chennai for attending this function to share his thoughts and also to advise us on how to go ahead with managing this particular air quality. He is an expert and he is part of the various national government initiatives, and he is acting as an advisor in addressing these air quality issues. Thank you very much, sir. And Dr. Madhusudan, as I told you again, he is a senior professional, retired from Central Pollution Control Board as a regional director, Chennai Central Pollution Control Board zonal office. And thank you very much for all your support for the years and supporting this Air Quality Management Association. And we have two younger colleagues. One, Dr. Dheeraj Shetty is now taking as an secretary for the Air Quality Management Association, and he completed his PhD from IIT Madras. And thank you very much, Dheeraj. And Shruti is, the new budding researcher. So she's going to finish her research maybe very soon, and she is going to act as an treasurer for Air Quality Management Association. And thank you very much. And Professor Kare will be the chairman, and Dr. Madhusudan will be acting as an Joint Secretary, and I'll be acting as President. And we have Vice President Shri S.K. Gupta ji, and he could not able to join today because of some emergency. Now I'll request Nidhi to over to announcing the prizes. If they are here, we can hand over with and requesting them. So is it already made? So as you know that as a part of this World Environment Day, we have created, topic is it's very only one Earth, and also no individually, if you try to look at, you are the only one person, okay? So it's very well connected, and you are unique the same way as our Mother Earth. So we have created the three category of competitions. It's all online, and the category 1 is for class up to 7. It's a creative drawing. And category 2 was class 7 to class 12, class 8 to class 12. It is for 1 minute video. And category 3 is for college students to make some technical posters. And I'll go to the next slide. Okay, so if you try to see that for online competitions, we have kept a reasonably good price. So first prize is for 5,000, second prize is 3,000, third prize is 1,000. And we have received a good number of participation, about more than 150. It's a good number because all of you are enjoying holidays, and in between we stopped you to just participate in this World Environment Day. So I'm so thanks to all of you. So I'll just go to the next slide. This is creative drawing, and very nice to all of you. And this is where the imagination, some creative, address will come into picture. So now I'm going to declare the result. So this is the first prize winner. So look at the nice drawing she has made. Tikshwa. So 6th standard, SBOA School and Junior College, Tamil Nadu. She is here? Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I request Professor Kare to hand over the prize to him. Give your, please, you have to give your bank account number so that we will transfer the prize to your parents' account number. Okay, so you have to approve it. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So nice of you. The second prize goes to Diksha Rajesh. She's from 7th standard, Kendriya Vidyalaya, IIT Chennai. She's here. Diksha. Okay, so thank you very much, Diksha, for nice drawing. So the third prize goes to Murugat Tippan. He is 7th standard, Vanamadi Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Tamil Nadu. Is here? Okay, so thank you very much. So these are the three winners in the creative drawing. Now we'll go to 1 minute video, and all of you, I know that you are very expert in making videos these days. So the first is Amalesh Sultani Shatujita. She's from 12th GVHS Boys School. We have a video there. Okay, so I'm going to play the video.
Earth is the only shelter of all living beings. Water is our life. All living things need water to survive on Earth. For a healthy environment, we should say no to plastic. Investing in ecosystem is investing in our future. Only with healthy ecosystem can enhance people's livelihood, counteract climate change, and stop the collapse of biodiversity. There is only one Earth. It's our sweet home. Let's try to protect our Earth.
So thank you, Amelia, for the wonderful video. So she's here. Okay. So the next one is the second prize.
Earth is the only shelter.
Okay, the second prize. Rakshana Subramanian.
Environmental pollution affects the lives of every living being. Humans have exploited the wealth of nature at the cost of environmental health. We humans are making Earth vulnerable and are destroying our own homes with activities that are causing pollution at an increased rate. Air pollution is a major issue in today's world. The smoke pouring out of factories and cars pollute the air that we breathe in. Gases like carbon dioxide mixes with air and causes great harm to the human body. Dry grass, leaves, and coal used as domestic fuels produce harmful gases. Water pollution is one of the most serious environmental issues. The waste products from the growing industries and sewage water are not treated properly before disposing of the wastewater into the rivers and other water bodies, thus leading to water pollution. Land pollution results from the deposition of solid waste on the open land. Materials such as plastic cause land pollution and make the soil unfertile. Solid pollution is cause for some diseases such as typhoid. With pollution increasing each year and causing deterioration of the natural environment, it has become necessary to take steps to protect the surroundings. It is very important that we keep our environment safe from pollution. Go green, breathe clean.
Thank you. So that is from Rakshana. Okay, so now I'll go to the next prize. So next we have a joint winner, Akshaya, Padma Krishnan, and Atulya. So we'll try to see both of them.
Broken bottles and charred pieces of glass, weighted up newspapers tossed on the grass, pouring of concrete and tearing of trees. This is the environment that surrounds us. Please do heed. A word that saves everyone. Our environment is our treasure. It fostered and supported life for millions of years. Every invention is inspired from nature, such as shields from insects, fleas from birds, and so on. Mahatma Gandhi says that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, not every man's greed. Whether renewable or non-renewable, organic, non-organic, natural resources should be conserved. Overuse of natural resources should be stopped. The available resources need to be used wisely without wastage. Hunting of wild animals should be stopped for the conservation of wildlife. Farmers should be taught the use of fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, and crop rotation. Deforestation should be controlled. Rainwater harvesting systems should be installed. The 4 R's are rethink, reduce, reuse, and recycle. One of the first things you can do is try to change the people around you by doing our individual part in everyday life, like conserving energy, recycling, composting, and not littering. Make it happen. If you do it, other people will follow it from you as an example. Our solutions are in nature. Hurry, conserve it, cherish it.
Okay, so we go to the next one.
And charred pieces of glass, weighted abuse, my dear friends. We all celebrate World Environmental Day. This day provides us many opportunities to take responsible steps to preserve and enhance the environment. For a healthy environment, we should save out plastic to save the environment. We should use reusable items. We should separate and recycle the different type of organic and inorganic waste. To save the environment, we should save electricity and use more and more renewable sources of energy. World Environmental Day is the global platform for inspiring positive changes with over 115 countries participating. This is an international day engage governments, businesses, schools are raising awareness and celebrate the environmental action. In the universe, billions of galaxies. In our galaxy, billions of planets. But there is only one planet, that's Earth. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Respected teachers and my dear friends.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the last category that we call technical posters. So basically, it's meant for college students to come out with new ideas. How do we manage the environment, or how do we connect the environment in an innovative way? The winner is Mohammad Fazal Sadiq Bachchan. He is from Sri Krishna College of Technology, again from Tamil Nadu. So he's, the technical poster is here. So I congratulate all the winners, and we also look forward similar participation in the next World Environment Day 2023, again on June 5th, 2023. Okay. So with this, we are coming to an end of this program. Anything else you want to know? Okay. So I thought, just because, it's my responsibility to say thanks to, this particular work could not, just like, there are two faces of the coin. So one is all of you, the young minds, which you came and attending this program, participating, and you are bringing a lot of energy for us. Are you knowing that one? So when you come home, your parents will get more energy. So like that, when you come to school, teachers will get more energy. Are you aware of it? Yes or no? Yes, you people bring a lot of energy. So one is you people young. The other one is our trained, professionals, like our research scholars, and they are also having similar energy. So they will also try to bring same energy. In between, it's like a sandwich for all of us. So we'll also get some energy from young and some energy from all the trained one, and we mix both together and see that what best we can do it. So on behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras, and also on behalf of CEPA Network, Clean Environment for Planetary Health in Asia, we started this about 2 years back to basically to more connecting to the other countries and also understand what works them and what is how we can learn certain things. For example, all of you know that construction sites contributes more pollution, but in some of the developed countries, you notice that their construction is not contributing significant air pollution. So then we should understand what they are doing it. Okay. So that's the thing. With thanks to CEPA network, we also thanks to our Tamil Nadu State Pollution Control Board, Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, Greater Chennai City Corporation, Madurai City Corporation, and Tirchi City Corporations for all their kind support in organizing this particular event. So more importantly, without participation of particularly, I'm really very humble and feel so happy that our director and chairman from the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board and Professor Kare, they all come together, even giving a message to the world environment. That is a unique, and thanks to all of them for their help and support in organizing this event. And the speakers, particularly, Professor Ravi Krishna, again, Professor Kare has already spent some time to share his thoughts on air quality management. Dr. Mansoodan, Archana Kalyani Madam, for sharing their wonderful, thoughts on, environmental management issues. We want to thank all of them. So in your absence, we also try to plant some 2 trees. I thought we will also try to look at it. We requested our director, Professor Kamakoti, and also Professor Kare, to other colleagues to join and plant 2 trees as a, part of our World Environment Day celebrations. Thanks to them, and the horticulture team has helped, including Professor Srinivasan sir, to make sure that everything goes nice in planting the trees. Thank you very much. And this particular on CLT, particularly after the the pandemic, we are organizing a program. So thanks for all the people who are involved, particularly in organizing this connections with Mike, all the facilities, including in the CLT. Thank you very much. Thanks very much to all our administrative staff and also our security, particularly the CSO has come all the way, to attend this World Environment Day function. Thank you very much. And more importantly, I would like to thank all the young, and also I'm noticing this is a good opportunity to make all the only young people to come, because they will also bring their parents. So it's also good to see both, if they are only involving children, it's nice, because automatically parents are also coming to participating this particular important event, World Environment Day. Thank you all for all your support in successful completion of this World Environment Day celebration. And we look forward to your similar participation the next World Environment Day. So we'll also see some other events in the years to come. So we have arranged an high tea outside. Please join us, and if there are any delay happens to you, please bear with us. And thank you very much. We will please join us for the IT. Thank you very much. The tea is arranged in HSB 133 opposite.